Yes, guys, welcome back to the Graft Kings podcast. We are still here in sunny Marbella. It's been a lovely few days for us to now just settle and crack on with a load of work. Boys and girls, today we are going to sit and talk to you about, in today's dating standards, are women's standards too high or are today's men just too mid?
It's a very broad subject, isn't it?
Bring back the controversiality.
Up, Brev?
Bring back the controversial Graft Kings.
Banging.
Someone said that in the last pod in the comment section. They said, good to see the old Graft Kings back.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
We're back to piss some people off. I think both are the problem, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Both are the problem.
Yeah, can't just sit here and blame women.
It is a catch-22 though.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, men have dropped their game in terms of who they are as a man. Women are expecting too much.
Yeah,
And
what's
so it's
built?
like,
What's built up this expectation?
Let's just let like that. The balance is way off.
Yeah, but what's built up the expectation?
Social media.
Yeah, social media.
Society. The way
Men have
everything's
men have fed that ego, massively fed women's ego.
unfolded. We must be the problem, though. We always say it starts with us, regardless.
It does start with the men.
Even if like your woman does you over, it is your fault.
Yeah, it does start
You've
with the men.
allowed it to happen. So does it stem from men or from women?
But what happened is before the social media era, the only women that you'd probably womanize is the girls that are even page free or people that were in Hollywood or on TV.
Yeah.
So the average girl would never get like
That level of attention. Yeah.
monumental amounts of attention. And then you've got a system now where you can upload a photo onto an online platform and you can have millions of people interact with you online, and it feeds your ego. So you've given yourself validation by loads of men. So your standards of what you think you should expect has gone through the roof. When in reality, is that actually warranted? Because you've actually done nothing to actually gain that. Back in the day, you had to be slightly talented to be in the
that
limelight.
game, yeah, right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Talented, you had to get ready, go out, actually receive a compliment face to face.
Yeah, had to be at these events, had to be a good talker, had to wing your way into these places.
Where now all you've got to do is just sit on your sofa while eating Whatsits, upload a photo that's probably 90% edited.
Oh,
and
God,
they fly in.
And most of these girls, like at least back in the day, if you was like a TV personality or a Hollywood star, you'd have an actual personality you could talk to. You'd have actually a brain cell. The problem with most of these girls online nowadays, especially the stupidly hot ones, when you normally interact with them in person, they can't even hold conversations.
No.
Which is really sad to see.
They're very socially awkward.
Yeah, I know. And I think they're a product of their environment because they're always behind their phone or behind their camera. They don't really ever venture out. They might go on trips to take photos, but they're just taking photos to say they've been there. They're not taking photos because they're enjoying the moment. Do you know what I'm saying? So most of these girls have lost the ability to actually engage in a good conversation. Whereas before, all these girls that were actually stupidly hot back in the day, they were hot because they had a personality. Because that's what got them in front of the TV.
People like Marilyn Monroe and things like that, like, they were big people. Pamela Anderson,
Yeah,
like,
I was
they were
gonna say Pamela Anderson, even
big
people
stars.
like that. All the Hollywood stars, Julia Roberts and all that, they had personalities.
That's right, yeah.
And they were hot.
This is probably why they end up like being left on the shelf and not wifed off, though, because it's a sense of they get the attention, the first initial attention, which draws a man in, but then there's nothing there that mentally like stimulates him to want to stick around. So they just become part-time investments, and because they've been given the validation of like, I'm so beautiful and that's why you're here, they don't think they need to develop other areas of their life to attain a man. Because this is the problem. Most women, men too to some sort of respect, but I say it to women because they get most of the attention, is being able to get attention is one thing, but can you attain a man's attention?
Yeah, that's right.
Like they're two complete different things. Like most women online get the attention. They think, oh, a lot of men want me. If I left you today, I can go get with another geezer straight away. Yeah, you can, but is he going to stick around?
Yeah.
What fundamental values do you have for him to want to do that?
Not only that, what type of guy is he as well? Is he just a guy sticking with you because you look a bit pretty and he's got no fucking substance either? So then you end up with an absolute melt of a man who's very, very mid, and then you're sitting there in 10 years' time thinking, what the fuck have I done? Why have I chosen him? When you had so much talent to begin with,
Potential.
if you only use that to the best of your ability, the type of person you could have become and the type of man that you could have ended up with would have been on such a higher spectrum than you just chose to use prime years of your life to get a bit of attention and get into clubs and parties and whatever else, rather than actually using that to your ability to potentially start a business and make real money and educate yourself and end up with a really good guy on the same level as that who's also done the same, which is what we tell you boys to do. you've wasted it, and now you've ended up with an idiot.
Well, we always say that, mate, didn't we? There's a girl that we always talk about that's got unbelievable, uncapped potential, and she just doesn't do fuck all with it. And it frustrates the hell out of me. She's an absolute weapon, and she's just so stupid. I'm just like, you have got literally the world in your hands here. You started a makeup brand, you could start a cosmetic, anything. You could have done anything. She's so pretty, and she just doesn't do anything. She just uses her fucking beauty to just make stupid TikToks and go to clubs and free holidays. I'm like, you are a wasted potential. You could be the top tier of women in the country with business and everything, and she just doesn't want to do it.
Do you know how they could though? Like if they had a solid man with them that was business minded and understood the social media game, it would massively kind of project them. Whereas like they obviously go do it on their own and stuff. I'm not saying you need to have a boyfriend if you're stupidly pretty and you're good on social media, but if you're with someone that gets the game, like it would only just enhance what you're doing anyway. But
Only if they listen though.
Yeah. They don't listen. I've had these conversations with many beautiful girls in my time.
Yeah.
One has actually taken the advice on once upon a time, but the rest of them just goes one out here, one out the other.
Oh, I can't be arsed, babe. Nah, not really a bit of me. Well, what are you doing it for then?
Yeah.
If you're not doing it to get financial gain, so you're telling me you're simply posting these photos and shit just for attention?
They are doing it for financial gain because they are getting paid off it. They're just not doing it. They're just doing it to get by though.
Yeah.
So then they're making the money just to pay their bills, maybe buy a few dresses, go on a few holidays, and look, I get it. Like, fair enough.
Quick win, though.
But that's gonna run out. It's not like a job where you have like a.
You can get promoted.
Yeah, unless you actually fucking do something for it. They're sooner or later gonna be outdated, and the next generation of girls are gonna come in, and they're gonna be, like you said, left on the shelf, and then they're gonna have to go and either get jobs or find someone that's a loser enough to take them on board, even though they're fucking gone way past.
And that's what you don't realise. There's new girls and guys, right? Same as the boys. There's new, but the difference is guys get better with age. That's the difference. Men come into their prime when they sort of get to their 30s, whereas women, that narrative begins to change, and so you have a small period where you women can like really capitalise on your youth and your looks and your intelligence, and then obviously that can set you up for the rest of your life. Whereas when you start getting to sort of 28, 29, 30, those young girls that are now who you were when you were 21, 20 are now coming through and taking your place.
Especially nowadays as well. Like they come kitted up.
Proper.
No, it's true though.
I agree.
Now, and like the 21-year-olds in our time are not like the 21-year-olds.
Nothing.
Worlds apart.
And the same with the men as well. But at the same time, like it's like, you know, like this might be a silly example, but when Love Island first come out, people would leave the villa and they had like a year or year and a half window period to do everything they needed to do, and they would just kind of relax, and every single one of them were blowing up. And because the show got so popular, they were churning over like 2 a year, 3 a year almost. So the people that were coming out of it had like a short window period. Because like people are more better looking now, because there's more people like trying to in that space, like trying to look a certain way, they're getting forgotten about, and then the new era's coming in and they're taking over very, very quickly.
For real.
I agree.
But then, like on the flip side, though, when we talk about a woman not utilising from her looks and her potential, there are some very successful women out there that do very fucking well when it comes to being their own boss, entrepreneurship, work. So what about those types of women that kind of come up to that level? Then aren't they going to look at men beneath them and go, well, you're not earning the same amount that I do, so
Well, I think they should.
Therefore, their options have got smaller.
I feel like they're entitled to believe that, though.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they are, but I'm saying that's on the flip side to what we're talking about. Like there are some women out there that probably want a man to be level, if not earning more than them. And when they've hit a certain threshold bracket within their self, they won't even entertain a man that's beneath that. But then how does that work? Because by the time they get to that, they're about 30, and then some men will look at that and feel demasculinated and go, well, you're so rich. Like, would you ever even listen to me, even if we got together? Most men have an ego.
Well, the only way around that is you have to become the best version of yourself, and obviously you can't obtain a woman like that. I don't feel like you deserve a woman like that unless you've developed
hit that level yourself. Yeah,
that's
leveled up.
That's an actual fact, boys. Like we all talk about wanting a high value woman, but it's like I've said it myself recently. Like this is the table. What do you actually bring to it? Like as a man, yes, you want a feminine woman. You want someone who's maternal, someone who's caring, someone who's going to support you. But do you ever ask yourself, like, what do you actually bring to the table to deserve that type of a woman? Like, are you high value yourself? Like, what are you actually doing? Do you have financial stability? Are you emotionally available? Can you hold down a conversation? Do you have status? Do you have money? Like, we don't ever like question ourselves. We always talk about what we want, I think most men and women live in delusion.
The bog standard narrative for a woman in terms of what they want from a man: 6 figures, 6 pack, 6 foot.
Yeah.
Right, that's the bog standard, isn't it? That's what they say, right?
In this generation.
In this generation, right? Is that delusional, or do you think as though that's fair game?
I think it's delusional.
So do I.
If you don't bring anything to the table apart from your looks.
Yeah.
Even then,
I don't know.
they've just about got that. Some of
I
them.
feel like there's levels to the game, isn't there? Like everything's just a fucking game. So if you're asking for that and you can match it, I don't think it's delusional. But if you're if you're just doing a normal 9 to 5 and you don't bring a lot to the table, you're not emotionally intelligent, you're not caring, you're not maternal, you're not loving, you're not X, Y, Z, and you want that, then I'm a bit like, but where's the
trade-off?
Yeah, where's the balance?
The point is, we get demonized for our preferences. You say you want a traditional woman, straight away you're controlling. You say you want a woman that is going to stay-at-home mum, be a stay-at-home mum, and you're considered controlling. Even though that's what we've done for thousands of years, and it's worked back in the day, but it doesn't now. What is the equivalent to a woman wanting that then, from a man's perspective?
I'd probably say maternal,
Yeah.
caring, and a real homebody.
Yeah.
Like someone who actually wants to build a home with someone. We all know as a man, right, that a woman builds a home. Without your mums in the gaff, it'd be pretty cold.
Yeah.
Do you
Facts.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even when you design your houses, you're like, it needs a woman's touch in here.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean? It has to have a woman in it. So if she hasn't got that element about her where she's like your piece, for me, that's worth more than anything else in the world.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a financial aspect at
Nothing
all.
to do with
And
fin- yeah,
I
nothing to
don't
do with
even
that.
think the balance has to be equal, because I feel like with men, it's more on our assets of like, are we hardworking? Do we make enough money? Are we emotionally intelligent? Are we X, Y, Z? But I feel like a woman, it's more morally
Yeah.
what we look
Yeah,
for rather
bang
than
on.
like asset wise. So I look at Ronaldo, for example. He was dating one of the fittest models in the world, gave it up or whatever happened, and then he found his current missus in Gucci. Like, there's obviously no financial gain there for him, not that he needs it, but he obviously saw something in her. Maybe she was pretty, and then he got to spend time with her, and she was caring, maternal, and loving, and he was like, that's a fair enough trade-off for me.
That is the trade-off, I think.
Yeah,
for a
that is
man.
the trade-off.
That is it. We don't care about your financial status.
I don't give a fuck.
We
Yeah.
care about you. I think who's one of you was saying it the other day. We care about you being our peace. Like every day is a war for us. Every day is a battle. Every day we have to get up and go and get it. Every single day. When we come home and shut that door, like that's it. That we just want that to be our complete escape and place of peace.
You know what it sounds like to me, though? It sounds like to me like men's wants and needs and standards hasn't changed them, because roll back 20, 50 years, men would be saying the exact same thing.
Amen.
What's changed? That's the exact same thing that we've wanted for years and years, but now we're demonized for it. So I can't beyond me understand how that is a problem. How could it be that what we have done for years or what we've wanted and we still want now all of a sudden be demonized to the point it's like you're delusional for wanting a traditional woman?
Modern day
It's-
feminism.
which is spun far left. I don't think there's anything wrong with feminism. It's like modern day feminism has spun it. It's spun it to the point to say masculinity is a good thing. We've done it for fucking years. You want us to be protectors and providers, and we try to be that person. When you try to live up to those expectations, it's like, whoa, you're controlling. So don't pick and choose when you want a traditional man.
Yeah.
If you want me to protect and provide and look after you, then at certain points, even when maybe you don't completely understand why I'm making a certain decision, you trust me enough to let me lead, than to tell me what to do when you don't feel like it. Babe,
agree.
I don't think you should go there. That's not a nice area. I think there could be a bit of trouble there. Don't go dressed like that. It's because I care about your safety. There's a lot of like crazy people about. Is that me being controlling? Is that me being caring?
It's protective, isn't it?
It's all about perspective, and I think people's perspective has changed on it because of what we're seeing online, the shit that we're seeing, the way women are being told to believe what men are saying is controlling because they can do whatever they want, and of course you can. I'm not saying you're not, but if you're in a relationship, surely you let your man lead the way we have done for hundreds of years.
Thousands.
Nothing's changed for me. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I just want a maternal woman
agree.
that could be a great mother to my kids.
And do you know what? On that point, yeah, if anyone here, well, not anyone, right? There's always an exception to the rule. But if most of you went and asked your mum and dad, your nan and granddad, like, what is it that you do for one another? Why did you stay together? What did you bring to the table? I guarantee they both say what we're saying right now. That your dad was a good protector and a good provider and a good man. And your dad will turn around and say, or your granddad will turn around and say, your mum or your nan made our house a home. Like, I couldn't be without her in the house. Do you know what I mean? She made that house run. She was my place of peace when I came home and shut the door. Like, she had my favourite meal ready and she was looking after the kids. Like, that's all a man needs is fucking peace. Unless you're with a boy that isn't doing anything with his life, right? He doesn't know what war is. He just fucking gets up and does the average Joe stuff, right? Then, of course, it doesn't matter to him. And it won't matter to you. But if you're with a guy that's actually chasing something, whether he's in a 9 to 5 or not, because a 9 to 5 can be fucking stressful. So if he's got a stressful 9 to 5, working up in a city and grafting his ass off every single day, like, as soon as he switches off from work, what does he want? He wants a place of peace, man. He doesn't want to think about work. He doesn't want you to ask him how his day was. Like, he's at fucking work, mate. Like, what do you mean, how was his day? Like, I'm at work. Like, I'd rather be on a fucking beach somewhere sipping a pina colada, but I'm here grafting my ass off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Just give him peace. That's it.
I was going to say, do you know what I think's changed? And the only thing that has changed, like back in the day, it was more as a role. Like no one really kind of deeped it too much. Whereas now I think it's like a power shift. So people see it as like, because we want this and they have to do that, they think we want more power over a woman. And that's not the case. Like the balance is still the main thing that we're after. But I think everyone's so short-sighted now. They think like, oh, because we're like caring and it looks controlling and we want you to do X, Y, Z and look after the home and do this. It looks like a power shift. So I feel like...
It can be though.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
It can be. But that's up to you to find the right person. If you just chase, for example, the money that a man has, and if we just chase the looks of what we want a woman to have depending on our type, then that's exactly the type of person you're going to land.
Yeah.
It's because people's priorities have changed and what they're looking for in a relationship. They're no longer looking for a man that has all of these values. They just say, do you have money? And do you look half decent? Okay, I want the lifestyle. Men, you just want a fucking prize for her to look like a little Barbie doll in your arms. That's it. They don't care about the fundamentals. And that is why the power shift comes into play, because that's when you're giving them leverage to use against you, because you've not done your due diligence and your homework and investing time into someone to see if they're actually worthy of like being your partner. Then what do you expect? That's your responsibility as a man and as a woman. It's up. No one's forced you to marry each other. No one forced you to date each other. It's up to you two. So like, if you don't do that due diligence, you've got no one but to blame but yourself. Don't blame society. It starts with you. You're the fucking problem.
Do you think nice guys do finish last?
Now they do, yeah.
I agree.
I agree as well. I think you get shit over.
It's sad.
true.
It is very sad, boys, but that is the case, and it shouldn't be. But you got to be a realist sometimes. You got to understand the reality that you actually do live in, and it's unfortunate to say that the modern day, especially the Western world, you got to understand nice guys do finish last, which is a real shame.
Do you think the average man's chance in dating today has like significantly dropped?
Yeah, if you're not...
If it's just nice, as you were saying.
Just like the average Joe nice fella.
I was just going to say, like, to what Youve was saying, like, nice guys finish last because that's the only thing they bring to the table. You can't blame your nice nature to why you don't get women. That's your problem. Women love it when you sell them a mystery. Like, you need to paint a picture where like you're kind of creating this lifestyle for her, but in a mystery way. Yeah. If you're just nice, no woman wants to stick around for that. I completely get it.
But when did that change? Because that has not always been the case.
I think back in the day, men were nice, but people loved chivalry, and that chivalry was the mystery.
Yeah.
Chivalry was mystery.
And they didn't have the amount of options that they have available today. They didn't know how many different types of men there were in the world. So it's like, I found a nice guy. Fucking hell, like this is, I'm quids in here. People didn't travel as much. People didn't go out of their, exactly that. They didn't go out of their town that much. Like, people from London weren't traveling to Liverpool and Newcastle and went for a night out like we do. They're fucking stay in London and that's it. If anything, they probably hated one another back then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the sheer rivalry between North and South. Yeah. Like people weren't exploring, so they didn't know what options they had available. So therefore, if they found a nice, hard-working guy who was just, like I say, the average Joe, had a good, like, stable. Thank you. A stable job and was a nice fella, the woman would see that as go, do you know what? This is a nice guy. I've found pot luck here. They didn't have the knowledge to know what other types of men there are available to them today.
I don't even think it was that though. You know what I think it is? I feel like because men have become so much softer, the
Yeah.
average nice guy is now very soft. Like back in the day, bruv, there was working conditions were hard and men were just generally a bit more kind
Tougher,
of
they were tougher,
but
yeah.
they were still nice, bruv. Like you see these videos or you read these stories on like the old school gangsters, like they were still nice to people and nice to women,
Yeah,
but they were
right.
just tough and they wouldn't take shit. So I feel like that's the problem. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a nice person. I'd say we're all nice people, but we just don't take shit and we police our own shit. So
That's a really good point.
I don't think being nice is an issue.
Everyone is chasing that perfect fairy tale relationship. Everyone's chasing it, and the problem is nowadays when as soon as you see like a bit of a hiccup or a problem or something you don't like, it's considered an ick. It's considered
true.
So true.
Oh, I've got the ick. Like, okay, oh, she's a red flag because of this. Where back in the day, why did relationships work? It's because
You worked on them.
worked on your relationship. You didn't just walk away from it. You didn't just turn around and say, "Well, I'm done with this." It's, you know, you're not good enough. You actually worked together to become better people.
So, okay. Do you boys think and feel and believe that men have created the monster?
Yes.
Yeah.
Partially, yeah. I think that men want peace, but they bring chaos. Women want stability, but they chase excitement. So who's the real problem?
I don't think I would bring chaos to a woman's life.
You might not.
You might not.
Most men. bring
Most men do.
chaos.
Have you heard all these stories? When you chat to a bird nowadays, they go, oh, they show you their texts or how crazy he is, and bruv, men are fucking nuts.
Yeah, they are fucking weird, yeah. But again, are then the women to blame for then keep going out to the club and they're fucking shaking her ass on some man's table, and so the guy's sitting there getting anxious and paranoid about the fact, like, is she going to cheat on me?
Leave her then.
Yeah, I
You
agree,
allowed
yeah.
her to go to that club and shake her ass in that club.
Yeah.
You are responsible.
Yeah,
it is
that's it.
your fault. Leave.
You didn't set the boundary.
Yeah, right.
That's important. If you don't care about it and you don't mind her going to Marbella bank holiday, then fine. But if you care about it and you still choose to ignore it, then that's a you problem. That's not
Yeah.
her problem. If the thing is, if someone knows, your partner knows that you're willing to walk away at any given moment that you are disrespected, regardless of the fact that you are deeply and madly in love with them, they will never do half the things that they would do.
Yeah, I agree.
No, everyone's so scared to lose that person, so they hold on to them like this. So that person subconsciously or consciously goes, well, this cunt ain't going to go anywhere. I might as well just do what I want to do anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
I can get away with it. What do we say? It's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission.
Yeah.
I'll do it and say sorry later. That's everyone's mentality. It's how we're wired now.
That's why, and I don't think it is the women that are making the men crazy. I think honestly, most men are crazy. I think lack of father figures, bruv. I genuinely
On
believe
what part? The women or men's?
Men's.
On the men's
Well,
part.
and women's.
Yeah.
I wasn't even saying that, but and women's, yeah. Well, like nine times out. Well, look when we done the Marbella vlog last year, right? We're interviewing girls in Nao Beach Club. We're going up to them, and then they're proper scatty birds. Some of them are lovely girls, but some of them are scatty. Nearly all of them said they didn't have a father in their life.
So,
Nearly
Makes a
every
massive
single one of
difference.
them girls said they didn't have a father in their life. Nearly every OF girl I speak to has had trauma from either their father when she was younger, or they haven't got a father in their life. We have met the exceptions, Lily and Bonnie.
Yeah, Bonnie's the exception. Yeah.
They are fucking
And Lily.
exceptions to the rule. Yeah, I said
Oh,
that.
sorry, I didn't hear.
They're exceptions to the rule, but I'm saying 9 times out of 10, they've always got lack
There's
of
a
father
common
figures.
denominator.
Yeah, there's a common denominator and lack of father figures.
So people that create life, this is the problem, right? And my parents aren't together as well, and we all love each other as a family, but again, I had my own issues growing up because of this very reason of my family, my mum and dad not being together, right? My point is, people can create life, but then the problem is when they have issues together, they don't see the most valuable, important thing, which is that child.
Yeah,
and
right.
they weaponize their relationship. The woman won't allow the man to see the kids, or the man will be not present in the kid's life and just fuck off and do his own thing. That kid is going to be traumatized. She or he has to unlearn everything that they've been through as a child to first be aware of it, then take action to change it, then find someone who's willing to take on the fucking chaos and all the bullshit they've been through because they might be holding on to some trauma. And this is why there's more single people about. Because respectfully, even though that's not that person's fault, if I had a choice in front of me to say, there's a woman, one of them comes from a great family, mum and dad are together, she's the nicest person in the world, no trauma, looks identical to me, but she comes from a broken background and she brings trauma and she's got baggage, who am I going to pick?
Of course.
yeah,
Who am I going to pick? If I have that option, who will I pick? I'm not saying that person should be left on the shelf. God, no. Like, they deserve all the love and everything they're going to get as well. And they'll find that person. And so there might be someone willing to step up to that. But if you have the options, who are you picking?
Okay, so
I'm actually asking.
Well, we know.
yeah,
we're picking the one with the
We know.
family home
Yeah, of
and
course.
like
So on that then, with modern feminism in mind, right? Do you feel as though in today's day and age, women want a traditional man, whilst at the same time rejecting traditional roles?
I don't think women know what they want.
Yeah, I don't think they know what they want.
I don't think women know what they want at all.
They want partial.
Women our age, I believe the older women did.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but the only
Your
reason,
grandmother and mother knew what they
Oh,
wanted
right,
in
yeah,
a
yeah.
man.
Yeah, of course, but that's because they didn't have social media. They weren't exposed to
Yeah,
this
yeah,
world.
yeah.
Their whole belief system wasn't corrupted by this new generation. That's why they had that belief system.
Yeah.
The new belief system is they don't know what they want.
Yeah,
they
I
literally
agree.
have no idea.
Yeah.
They're torn between a traditional man, a drug dealer, a nice guy, and a guy that has a 6-pack and a 6 foot. They don't know what they want. They're so confused.
They want a part-time masculine man that is going to be traditional when it needs them.
Yeah,
when it suits them.
When
Yeah.
it suits them.
Yeah,
And
like-
respectfully, that's the case.
Is that our problem for feeding these women's egos and like simp culture, dating sites, OnlyFans? Like, is that our fault for like feeding that amount of ego? So therefore, these women now have this such high level of expectation from a guy. Like, if you ain't buying me this, if you ain't taking me there, then I don't want to know.
Yeah, it probably is our fault. I'd agree. Yeah, it's not every woman. Like, look, we're obviously exposed to this type of women a lot because of the environments we're in, and that might even be a lesson to you boys. Like, you're obviously not going to find your wife in these types of environment. You have to be very careful. But there are still very good women who are aware of this as well. Like we're speaking about it, they'll probably speak about it themselves. But we're just touching on the topic of because we're exposed to these women, and I guess as the more successful and more out there you get, these are the type of women that kind of come to your attention, right?
Well, there's been a massive debate, especially from that program on Netflix, about the 80-20 rule. I actually do believe in the 80-20 rule.
Yeah, so do I.
But you'll get demonized for saying that. You'll say,
Yeah.
oh, that doesn't exist, or you can't think like that. But unfortunately, you do live in that society, 100%. That is, I'm not saying the whole world, by the way. I'm saying the Western world. There is an 80-20 rule.
Yeah. But for true, we've seen it out here. Like the things that we met down the harbour, and we're like, oh shit, they're at their villa. Like it's all the top % of men speaking to the same women. Like these women
Always.
are fucking attractive, and we're chatting to him, and then you see him somewhere, and you're like, fuck, he's speaking to him, and he's doing this. Like it's all like you never see some like local girl who's fucking minding her own business in all of these environments.
It's always so. Every party we go to,
Yeah.
every event we go to, everywhere we're invited to, we see the same circle of people.
yeah.
Like for example, they're probably saying the same thing.
Yeah,
Every
true.
event they go to, we're there.
Yeah.
And
Do you know what I mean?
And every time I try and do a CRB on one of these beautiful girls that I feel like, oh, she could potentially be the one, you know. One of the boys has chopped it.
Someone's
Yeah,
whacked
or
it.
more.
Well, look at the trait though. look at the cycle. You look online, you see a bird, and when it's followed by the same group of boys, you're like, nah, okay,
Yeah,
there's a problem here. When you find one that isn't, you're like, there's a gem here. Like that, it's literally the same thing. But women are speaking to the same types of men, and that's the problem. They don't know how to differentiate between the both. And the problem is, within that cycle of men, that let's just say small percentage of men that these women talk to, there's going to be a needle in a haystack of a man in there that is prepared to take one of these girls serious.
Oh, but they do it all the time.
I was just about to ask that question. I thought you just said there is because of what also these women are exposed to in terms of the lifestyle. They see what we get up to. They see what all these other guys that we know get up to. Do you feel as though in today's day and age now, for that level of woman, it's harder for a guy to impress a girl today?
Yes.
For that,
But that's the
Yeah.
game.
yeah, it is the
I know
game.
no one likes talking about it out loud because they don't actually believe it when I say it, but this is a game. And I don't actually like that it's a game, by the way.
Yeah, same.
I don't think it's cool that it's a game. But unfortunately, the ecosystem that you live in right now, if you want to get one of these top tier goals or you want to be these kind of environments, you have to play the game. I'm not a fan of the game.
No.
We just learned how to play the game. And that's why we're quite good at the game.
But the thing about us is we're fucking very transparent.
Yeah.
We're very aware of the fact of what industry we're in. We're very aware of the fact of like kind of what type of people we do attract maybe at the moment because of what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're not delusional. When we meet a good woman and she doesn't want to stick around, I say,
I get
good
it.
luck to you.
I understand.
I
I
get it.
completely understand why you don't want to integrate yourself into this and how it might look to your peers and your friends. Like, at least we're aware of it. The main thing is for everyone to be aware of the situation they are in. Because then that's the only time you can change your own narrative is by being aware. But most of these people that do what they do and they live in this fucking la la land, those are the people that will forever be single and unhappy because you're not prepared to take accountability for what your actions are.
We know we're never going to meet our wife in places like this. We're not stupid.
Could do.
You
We're not
could.
in a haystack, bro.
Like, you know,
The
the percentage is lower.
It's-
Oh, it's
Yeah.
ridiculously
It
low.
could happen.
But it could happen. Like,
There's
we're not
no-
writing it off, but like Mason
I would
says,
write it off.
I don't know, bro. I've met a couple things out here who just was on a Hindu. She's a nice girl.
Yeah, she got ironed out the next day, mate.
Not her, bruv.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
what
know.
I'm saying is, we don't go into these environments thinking we're going to find a good
Oh,
bird.
never, no.
Like, we're not here. We don't go to these places because we're like, we're definitely going to find a bird there. We're definitely going to find wifey there. Like, we're not fucking stupid. We know what the game is. We're in these environments because we like to go and have fun, and we like to party with these people, and they like to party with us. But we don't ever look at these environments and sit there and say,
Take it seriously.
yeah, this is where we're going to find a wife. Do you know what I mean? It just, we're not, like Oz said, delusional enough to think that. And so, because we get asked that question a lot. My mum asked me that question. My grandmother asked me that question. She's like, "You're never going to meet a good woman in these places, Mason." And I'm like, "I know that, Grandma. I don't go there looking for that." Do you know what I mean? But then, like Oz said, we also know that there are lots of good women out there that if we weren't in these circles, we'd be all right with. But they will look at us now and look at our lifestyle and think, "Fuck that. I'm not getting involved."
You're wrong. I do get what you're saying, but you're wrong. Like, we spoke about this last night. It's actually crazy as well. It's actually mind-boggling.
Saying, yeah.
I know what you're saying. There is some, 100% won't. But I've come in contact with so many good girls that are not in these environments, by the way, outside of these environments that I've met. You know, a couple of them I spoke to. And they were willing to take a punt on me. They didn't really. They understood the lifestyle. I didn't tell them it was. I told them I'm going to be with round girls. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. And they're cool with it. This is. I don't get this, by the way, because I wouldn't take a punt on a girl if she was in these environments.
Yeah, same.
I wouldn't take you seriously if you was in these environments doing what I was doing. But time and time again, this is the craziest thing about this generation. I don't get it because I must have completely different values, or it's just because I'm a man. I don't get it, right? No matter what we do on camera, how many girls we have on our stories, how many girls we chill with, all these tables we go to, girls still don't seem to give a fuck.
That's what we were saying last
I
night.
don't get it. Like, I'm not hating it. I think it's great because we can get away with it. But like,
Social proofing.
but why? But why?
I think it's like it depends on.
I know why. Sorry, go on.
Social proofing. You're right. That is the reason why. But what's the psychology behind that? Like,
Go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, obviously, social proofing is one, but I think once you do actually get to meet us, like, I get we're here partying and doing a madness, but our mission, like, our reason and mission behind it is purely for work. Like, we're not kind of here just to fucking shag birds and fuck off home. Like, we're doing it for a reason. We do obviously do that as well. But I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit different from the side of we're just not the typical people that would be here and be after that. So I feel like they see that.
Yeah,
I don't think
I agree with
Is that just us we're talking about as a whole though? Because
well, no.
I think in general what you're saying is the case, whether someone's in our position or not, in respect of like
girls, yeah.
Men that are around a lot of women, they still get attention from other women.
Do you know
I
what?
feel like there's a reason for it.
Sorry. Do you know? I think I know why that is. We've said this previously before.
Social proofing.
Not just that. The women that always want to be with those types of men want to be the one to say, "I'm the one he claimed."
I don't think that's always the case. I think that maybe plays a certain
Like
Alright,
they
let
want
me-
to be that
it.
one to say he chose me over all you.
All right, let me drop something then. See if we agree or not. I think whether it's consciously or subconsciously, women know that when a man gets attention, he's getting it because he's got something about him. Because no men gets just swamped with women. No women just throws themselves at a man unless he's got status, unless he's got something about
Charisma.
him, unless he's got charisma,
Yeah.
money,
Make you laugh.
like whatever it may be. He has done something in his life to be able to attract those women.
Yeah, right.
Right. He has done something where subconsciously they know, a woman knows, a very beautiful woman knows, all she has to do is turn up and most men will come after her. Most men will give her the validation that she wants, and she's very aware of that. She knows she's got pretty privilege. So all she had to do was just rock up to that beach club, and most men she walks by is gonna go, right,
come on
where
our
you from?
table,
Come on
yeah.
our table. Where if I walk through a beach club, yeah, I might get an eye contact from a woman, but no woman's gonna throw herself at me. You know what I'm trying to say?
I actively saw man out here all the time on beds, walking up to women and saying, "Do you want to come on our bed over there?" Saw it.
Really?
Yeah,
All
bro,
the
they do.
time,
I
mate.
clocked it.
Mate,
as well.
I stood when we was at Nao. Obviously, it rained for like what
Yeah.
2/3 of the day, right? So obviously, I was just observing. I was literally we had a perfect position bed
Yeah.
to watch the rest of the club.
Yeah.
And I was sat on that bed for like what 4 hours. Didn't even touch a drink. I was sat in the same spot between you boys and that, and I was literally just watching everyone get drunker and drunker and drunker. And the amount of same guys I saw on different tables actively walking up to birds taking them away from the bar, saying, "Come on our table." You can see the girls going, "Yeah, go on, go," and some of the girls are going, "No," I'm like, they don't think he's fit or whatever. And they're like, no, see the girls going, "It's free drink, like it's free drink." And like these guys are actively pursuing these women, walking around the club, like taking them to their table and stuff. I was like, wow, man, like
We've never done that.
I was about to say, we've never done that in our life. Like, bearing in mind, it was pissing down with rain at night, like thunderstorms. We were sat under a canopy. None of us were drinking at that point for like 3-4 hours. Just sat on the bed chatting. I couldn't tell you how many groups of girls come up to us and sat on our table and chilled. Like, we didn't invite them. I was just like, "Who's that again?"
Yeah.
And they're just on us. But that's because they like being around us.
Yeah, but like,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, but like, deep it. You're on a table with other birds, and they're seeing what the fuck is going on over there. Why these lads got so many birds on their table?
Yeah.
Why? And it's not because we're dishing out free drinks.
No, we don't.
We weren't even drinking.
Yeah.
Like, the point is, like, there's loads of women around us, and other birds just spawn out of nowhere. And I pick my head up like a meerkat, and I'm like, "What is going on here?" Like, there's a hive in here. And the point is, like, you're not actively chasing these birds.
That's right,
You're
yeah.
attracting it because you are around other birds. So it goes back to social proofing. They're thinking, what the fuck are these guys doing? And what do they have for these girls to want to be around them?
We just have a good time.
Yeah.
I think the energy's correct.
But that's
right, yeah.
the point, reverting it back to what you're saying. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why women like a man that is desired by other women.
Yeah. Because they know he's got something. But like I was just saying, because for a man to be of high value, he has to have so many things going for him.
Oh yeah.
Your status, your money, charisma, mannerisms, being a gentleman, morals, make a girl laugh,
Be in good shape.
Be in good shape. You can't just have one of those or two of those. Like, as a man, in order to have multiple women attracted to you, you have to bring so much to the table.
Not skanks though. We're talking about high value, like good-looking
Absolutely.
birds.
Good things. The
You've
ones
got
that got like the ones you're obsessing over in your IG.
Yeah,
Ones you're
like-
wanking over.
Basically, fuck's sake. Not skanks, basically. Not skanks.
Yeah, we don't do that
Yeah.
shit out there, but
It's funny, bruv, like, because I think modern day men can't take rejection, and modern day women can't take accountability, and they both claim they're the prize. They both claim you're the prize. Like, who is the fucking prize?
Okay, so a question for you off the back of that then. Should, in today's day and age, do men need to level up? Or do women need to level down a little bit in terms of expectation reality?
I don't think women need to level down.
no.
I think men definitely need to level up.
I don't mean themselves level down. I mean their expectations
Expectations?
of standards.
Right. Well, is it?
Why would you do that?
Well, it's a catch-22
It is a
because
catch-22, yeah.
a woman can have whatever standards she wants. However, she has to bring certain aspects to the table to validate why she has them standards.
Yeah.
However, a man, if he wants these top tier women, the highest echelon of women, these beautiful women that he desires, then you need to level the fuck up. You need to have all bases covered. Like Mason said, you need to have status. You need to have your financial. Let's start again. You need to have your finances in play. You need to be in good shape. You need to be making money moves. You need to have everything covered. But if you're not doing that shit, why would any of these women even pay you attention?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Women have leveled up, like, in financially in certain areas of their life, and they're going to expect a man to be on that level.
right.
So
Yeah.
We know a lot of girls who make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think Elliot Weiss said this on our pod. He was like, well, if the standards is here, if everyone's here, bring the standard to here. If every man gets to that standard, then women have no choice but to get to that.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
If every woman leveled up their game to that point, then as a man, you've got no fucking choice but to get to that level.
I think that's happened. I think the roles have reversed.
They
I
have.
think more women today have massively leveled up in terms of who they are, status, money, personality, to the point where most men, I believe, that's why we titled this pod is most men these days are fucking mid, mate.
Yeah, they are.
But
They
Most
re-
men are mid.
They
yeah.
really
Most
are.
men
They're
mid.
weak. They're fucking soft. They're simps. They don't work out. They don't know how to
pushy?
fight.
That's why we started the right side.
They
though.
don't make money. They don't have a brotherhood around them. They're not chasing a goal. They're not chasing a dream. Like, they're just not men. They're soft. They get insulted. They fucking get sad about things that they see online. Like, they're not doing anything with their lives. And so, whereas most women these days actually have gone, do you know what? I've seen what women can obtain now through social media. And so, as a good thing, right? I think it is a good thing. And so I'm going after that life as well. And so that is why most women in today's day and age are surrounded by the same 1% of males.
Yeah, and that's not a dig. Like, we've all been there. Like, every most men go through that point where they're not emotionally intelligent. They might be a bit of a simp. They might not work out. They might not have the status. Like I've been there myself. And
I've been there as well.
It's just a case of understanding it, which a lot of men don't, because they just take self-pity and they think, oh, like, why is this happening to me? And they don't do fuck all about it. That's the problem.
They're not aware of it.
If you're aware of it and you actively try and change it, you're gonna level up regardless, even if you don't feel like you are.
And you can, boys.
Yeah, you can.
It's what you say. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
Like 100%. But you can change, boys. Every male can change. And I hate when people go, people don't change or people can't change. That's bullshit, mate. You can be 50 years old and decide to turn your life around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You could live another 50 years. Do you know what I mean?
Rich people go broke and bounce back.
Yeah.
People come from broken family backgrounds and find the love of their life because what do? They've made themselves aware of the situation and then they've changed that. That it starts with them, and like, I think instead of like blaming people around you, like look at the geezer in the middle or the woman in the mirror, and that's the person that you need to have a conversation with.
Yeah, that is why going back to what Yo just said. Sorry, go on.
I said that's why we started the right side.
Yeah.
Sick of seeing men not being able to get out of this hole they believe they're in, and they don't think there's a way out. So we started the right side so men can level the fuck up.
Don't you think though? Women have become very masculine, and men have become very feminine.
Yeah,
It's like the role genders have reversed.
I don't know if women have become masculine.
They have in the aspect of they're earning what men are earning or more now.
I don't think it's the financial part of it that is the biggest problem. Like, I don't even know how to word this, but it's everything in between that of like expectations from a relationship. Like they
act like a boss bitch.
When you ask a woman like, "Oh, what do you bring to the table?" They'll reply to you what a man replies.
Yeah,
I earn my own money. Like I don't need no man. Like I'm independent. Like I just feel like the mental kind of view on this stuff is very, very different, and women have now just started to think like men when it comes to, if we are talking about money, like when they are making their dough. Because we've said this before, like when a woman becomes more and more like financially free, she'll say, "I'm independent of anyone. I don't need a man. I don't need to take bullshit. I don't need anyone." Where I think the more richer I become, the more how many responsibility can I take on to look after the people around me?
Yeah.
And do you know what? That's the narrative that I want us to change for people. I don't want people to look at someone or a woman to look at a man and go, "I don't need a man." You should want a man in your life.
100%.
I want, and all the leads want a good woman in their life. We don't need one. Of course, no one needs anybody really. Do you know what I mean? Like if you want to play that game, but you should want a good man in your life. You should want to build a family and have a good fella and build these experiences with him. Same as we want a really good woman in our lives to take home and meet our mums and meet our grandparents and build a life with. We want those things. And I think you're an idiot if you don't, right? And what Ozzy's trying to push there is that you women nowadays feel as though because you've got a bit of money, that's it. Like you don't need no man in your life. Okay, well, what if someone breaks into your house? What are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? If someone tries to rob you, what are you going to do?
I always use that analogy.
Right, what are you going to do? There's not a lot really you are going to do. Let's be brutally honest about it. And as a man, what do you want to do? Do you want to grow old and lonely and not have a woman by your life?
Kids?
Or kids or a family? Like, are you fucking stupid, mate? Like, find a good woman and keep her next to you. Do you know what I mean?
That's the point I was going to make on top of what you just said, to be honest. Like, people need to prioritize kind of what's important. But after you become an old woman and a man, like, what is it that you're going to be? What is it that you want? Like, it's community that keeps people going.
Correct.
It's community. Like, look at the most like poorest poverty places in the world. They're so fucking happy because they have massive families and they look after one another, and that's why they live so long. Look at how many old people deteriorated in old people homes like, within a month. Like you unrecognizable. These people live long because they're with their family, they're with their loved ones.
Gives you energy, man.
Hence why I hate leaving my mum by herself. But like, this is something we had to do. They're granted, but the point of the matter is like, it's community, and it's
keep them
family.
young, innit?
That's what's
Yeah,
important.
you do keep your parents young.
100%.
Like I always say, we come naked, we leave naked. Like, you're not taking your assets with you. You're not taking that pretty car with you. You're not taking that ring with you, that money. You're not taking fuck all with you. This is all just like nice for the life we're living now. Granted, we want to be successful and live that life, but what's really important?
What did that taxi driver say to us today?
Yesterday.
What did he say to us? He said he lives in Marbella, born and raised. Right, he's a really nice guy, and he was like, Marbella's lovely and it's beautiful. The sun keeps him young because he looked young for his age. He said he's got 3 kids, and he's like, living in Marbella, it's all about drugs, women, and alcohol. Right? It was like that you're surrounded by. He said,
I've done it all.
Even I've done it all. He said it's very hard to make sure my kids don't see that and get like warped into that life. And he's like, But when you have kids, he went, yeah, it's good. He went, I've done the party, and I've had the cars, I've had the watches. He went, but he said, when I had my children, he went, there is nothing on earth that even comes close to the comparison for the love that I have for these kids. He went, as soon as you have them kids, everything else fades away, but you don't give a fuck about the cars and the watches and all this sort of stuff. It's immaterial.
He said it's undescribable.
Undescribable. And we can't wait for that feeling. And we know that's going to be the case. I mean, I wouldn't say any of us are very materialistic anyway. Yeah, okay, we like nice clothes and stuff like that, but we're not materialistic people at all.
Well, look what happened when we went to Bali.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah,
Every bit of materialism went out the window.
Probably the happiest we've
None of us
been.
cared about a single thing.
It's so true.
Pair of shorts and flip-flops every day.
We're so happy.
Whack
bro,
it on the
driving-
ped and just like, boys, you want to go for a little spinellini? Like just
1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Getting
like,
ice cream.
But how wholesome is that? Riding next to your boy, just having a little
Through the
fucking
jungle.
chill. Like you'll never forget that.
No.
Ever.
Would you? Are you gonna remember that moment or the moment you drive an SVR? Don't be wrong. It's probably nice to drive an SVR. Granted, but
But
just
that doesn't
saying,
like, you won't ever in 40 years time we won't be sat here like this going, do you remember when you drive the SVR?
Yeah.
You'll be sitting there going, do you remember when we were driving around 1 a.m. in Bali
Shall I give
together?
you an example? What my dad told me once. It made me crease. So my dad's obviously like driven very nice cars, right? And I vaguely remember what he was driving, Mercedes, like Range Rover, whatever. Like he's driven very, very fucking nice cars. And you know what's the one car he always talks to me about that he remembers? He goes to me back in the day when he was in Istanbul. He was like working in the factories and that. He goes, I had this Volvo or this like white car. And he goes, Oz, he goes, I swear to you. He goes, the brakes wouldn't work properly. So he goes, he would call the boys, signal them to say, I'm coming to the factory. They'll bring out logs and shit and put it on the floor and stop the car. They would stop the car. They would stop it. And then he would get out. He goes, I'll never forget that car. That was my favourite car.
Imagine getting that on video.
He's like,
quick, he's coming.
He's like, I'm coming, boys. He goes, I can't stop it. Because he would like go do his little thing or whatever, like drive slowly. But he goes, for them to officially stop it, he goes, I have to get him to put a
fucking
log down and
hilarious,
stop the
mate.
fucking car.
That's so
And that's the one he talks
That's
about.
it, man.
It is true though. I think some of the best memories we have with each other have never come down to spending a shitload of money on it.
Agreed.
Like the funniest things, like off the top of my head, I can think of is the Bali thing. I was
Yeah.
staying in that fucking prison cell in Thailand.
Yeah.
like,
Oh my God.
Stuff like that is shit that I
bunk
remember.
bedroom.
Like I've never like.
Oh, bunk bed
Yeah,
room.
fucking
Fucking
hell.
hell.
Like,
Nothing will top that
What about
room
driving
ever.
down with that cart down PP screaming?
Oh my
Shit like that.
God.
Like obviously we have fun. Like Ibiza Amsterdam's great, but like it's not the same level of like memory that. We
No
have.
way,
Like,
yeah.
It's
the,
not.
the cheap environments and just being with your mates.
We don't ever
is
sit
where-
there and go, oh my God, like that ants room was like that. Do you remember this happened, that happened? You
Yeah.
go, that day was just sick.
Yeah, it's a good day.
But we have specific memories from absolute shitholes
Yeah.
that we will talk
So
about for the
funny.
rest of our lives. That morning on Thingy Bob Beach, where we came and found the boys when we left that villa.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fucking.
And we bumped into
And
Ryan.
I was looking at that girl, going, she's so beautiful. Why is she
You
so
gotta fuck her, Jordan.
she's
so hot.
mermaid. I was so
I want to fucking cheat
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Then I
That's-
realised she's not even
Stuff
fit.
like that.
That morning, she,
Do you know
I
what I
don't know
mean?
what's wrong with me. But
We
she
all
was
look like
fit.
skanks.
She was fit then. She just turned for the worst, mate.
We've been on an all-nighter. We're on the beach in our trainers, stood in on stand.
fucking great.
Like
day.
just in nightwear, like at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning after being up all night on the piss and that, like stuff like that you talk about forever.
Yeah.
man.
You're making me want to go back to Thailand. I never thought I'd say that.
Go on. Go on,
go on
then.
then.
Yeah, go on then. So anyway,
Let's wrap it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. So
Don't wrap up. Oh,
fine.
Yeah.
That's gay.
Probably should.
Gay. No, I'm joking, boys. Don't
don't sit there with decorum, bro. I've seen you at your worst. You
didn't say-
never wrap up.
I never said I did.
Okay, just
No.
Why did you? When,
don't know. You just sat there with decorum like him. Just reiterate.
everyone knows, bro.
You're the biggest scumbag.
Wearing
here.
condoms is gay.
Wearing condoms. No, be safe. boys.
No,
Yeah, no,
no,
boys, no.
Where's your decorum, pussy
No,
bitch?
boys,
I don't
boys.
understand
Do
that
be
word,
safe,
you
boys.
faggot.
Because what would you
Pussy
say?
bitch, you faggotron.
Go on
Boys,
then,
no,
say
boys,
it.
do be
Condoms-
safe.
Condoms
Do
are
be
gay.
safe.
Say it.
I won't say condoms are gay. They're
Condoms
just,
are
they're
gay.
just
No,
irrelevant.
don't say that. They're not
Condoms are
gay.
gay.
They're so
Condoms are not
irrelevant.
gay, boys.
They're for
They're not gay.
faggotrons.
They're not gay. You're just gay if you wear one.
They're not gay. just
No,
general.
they're not gay, boys. Absolutely look after
They're
yourself.
gay if you
Protect-
wear them
and-
with the days that end with a Y.
Yeah, boys, just to wrap it up, do your due diligence when you're speaking to women, when you're looking for a wife, if you're looking for a one-night stand, just be careful, do a CRB because you will regret it if you do not do your research on people, and vice versa, she'll be researching you as well.
Yeah, 100% girls. Like, if you're looking into someone and want it, like taking this guy seriously, no matter what you might think, what status he has, do a fucking background check on him. Find out if he's a bit of a scumbag. Find out how he's treated women previously. And if he has, just avoid him at all costs, man.
Bro thinks girls make it this far in the pod.
But I think you'll be surprised.
All I would say to that is that's all fine, but before looking for what you want, decide what type of person you are and change that first, because if you change you will attract the right person regardless. So go have a look in the nearest mirror in your gaff and say, what type of a person am I? If you're not who you want to be, then level the fuck up and make sure you settle for nothing less.
Amen. Lovely.
Sweet, boys. Well, if you haven't already, like, subscribe.
Leave a comment in the cheeky comment section.
And we'll see you in the next pod, boys.
Peace.